And on their name, put some respect. Yeah. I think it's time for reality check. Yeah, reality check. Gotta get you back on cold. Reality check. For the young and the old. Reality check. Yeah, the heal your soul. Reality check. Get ready for the show.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Family, thank you for showing up. I'm glad you came because, see, I was getting lonely. Yes. How you doing, Spirit Wonder?
Hey, Spirit Wonder. Hey, Dr. Winters. What's going on, chat? I've missed you guys over here on Reality Check, but, life be
Yeah,
lifing.
I'll admit, I was out of town last week, and I kind of, in a sense, was out trying to experience the world and spend a little time with my kids. I guess I can't call them kids. They're in their 50s and 40s, so they're not really kids anymore.
Not anymore. No,
Yeah,
they probably have, minis of their own. Are you a grandpa?
yeah. I'm a grandpa. I got about what? 8 or 9 of them. Some of them are step grandkids too. So
Step grandkids.
yeah. They ladies who good nice ladies who already had children. So the Black Authority would have a fit. What he'd say, "What's wrong with your kids marrying women that are baby mamas?" But I mean, hey, somebody, it's good people out there, and even though some people want to put a stigma on someone because they have a baby, just because you have a baby and you fall in love, you can fall out of love. It's just like any relationship. The whole problem is, can you make a comeback?
Ooh, the comeback that's a very real thing that people have to contend with, because it means that you are still competitive, or you've aged out, or you've succumbed to whatever ailment that afflicts your generation. And then it's like an easy dig, when people don't have their life right, and then they're open and honest about not having it right. They have baby mama and whatever, and then people say, "Oh, well, that's why your life doesn't look the way life looks."
But again, people are too quick to make judgments. They're too quick to make judgments. That's one of the reasons why it's hard to get back on your Jonathan Majors. And Professor Black was saying this week that Jonathan Majors, even though he doesn't support the entertainment world, he just brought the fact that it looks as though he's going to get back, maybe making some movies, because the brother was really on a roll. He was hooked up with Marvel. He's about to make a lot of Marvel movies and things like that. So I think that it's kind of surprising that he's making a comeback this quick. Most of the time, once they put you on the ropes, once a European put you on the ropes, he keep hitting you in the body, boy. He don't let you get away. But it looks like Jonathan Majors may move a little bit forward. He may be able, in a sense, to make some progress. But I'm still upset because of the fact is that the brother was still showing that he in a sense had caught AIDS, culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome, and he had lost himself because many people feel that when they can get those white thighs, everything is so much better. No, it's not. No, it's not.
We've had this conversation before, and you say that it is the easy access to some different type of sex, right? And then from there, it's are people thinking on like with their lower self, or are they not even thinking about a higher self or a lower self? They just are in the moment feeling. And then if that's the case, then I get it. But should we be operating on our feelings Like you don't want a woman going through severe PMS with mood swings to be in control of the red button. That's why they don't vote for a woman president, right?
I think even if she had control, I don't think she would go that far.
No, I'm just kind of, I'm being playful with that, but it's an example people have heard in real time. They say that women shouldn't have such power because of how emotional we can get. And I don't think that is exclusive to women, because, you got
I agree.
of the world. So, but inside of that, people in my, I guess in a lot of our families, in my family, there's blends of colors, and people start, love is love. And this is so fitting for this conversation, because life's not fair. My thought is that if everybody were where they were supposed to be, or if we were in an ideal world, then you could love who you loved, as long as you weren't harming anybody. But the odds are not even. We are in a very real war, and some people know that, and they're saying, I'd rather be on this side of the fence. And then some people are ignoring it, so they kind of know, but then they're like, I'm gonna do better. I'm not those niggas over there, who only focus on race.
But even though they might say that that they're not focusing on race, they are focusing on race, because, see, as I've said before, I really hate to say this, but I don't really think that a white woman or a white man can love you. And the reason I feel that they can't love you, even though love is basically a consciousness thing, it may be a state of being or what have you, but I don't think that they can love you, because they've been conditioned to feel that you're beneath them. And because they've been conditioned to feel that you're beneath them, I think it's very difficult for you to really, in a sense, be able to have a real, true relationship. I saw some divestors a few years ago, and the divestors was talking about the fact that they hate it whenever a black person is killed by the police, because they don't know how to discuss the issue with their mate.
Right. No, I mean, that's very real. If the experiences aren't the same, then how can you be empathetic? And then with them specifically, having us as property, and still being able to operate from a position of power, even though they're making babies with, I don't know if that's love there. And then now today, they seem to care way more about the animals than they do about what's going on with us. Because how many times do people have to go to the same place on the motherland and give so much money to these children with swollen bellies before something happens that makes sense for them? So it's like, they know that they can play on our bleeding hearts, but do they have bleeding hearts? Are they loving, or are they loving their position of power? From there, I don't know if, I don't know if they can love you like you would love them. So
I think it's very difficult for them to love you, and to love a black person, because the fact is that many of us don't really love ourselves. And because many of us, fail to love ourselves, then there's no way that we can, in a sense, find legitimacy. But see, a lot of people, they find legitimacy. They find, in a sense, hope. They find, in a sense, a real existence if they have a white mate, or if they have a white partner. And they feel that they've made it. They've reached that pinnacle of success. I was thinking about one of my nieces. My niece, she has a mixed child, and she fell in love, she said, with a white guy, but she's not with the white guy now. But the thing is that it's I don't know. I don't know if it's sex or what. I don't know if it's because of the fact that you're with that opposite person. But how do you make a comeback? How do you make a comeback when you've, in a sense, when you cross that line? Just like Jonathan Majors, he crossed that line. Yeah, Professor Black said it looks like he may be getting some more job opportunities, because he was really going to be moving up in the Marvels.
So I guess let me just ask you this, Dr. Winters. Do you think that people, I mean, Professor Black Truth, I felt spoke on this in general so eloquently about their tools being broken. And then to me, in general, in the industry, I don't know that any of them are not tools, because the people who speak out don't last long. You know, they get immediately ostracized, and they immediately can't get additional roles, or they have to kind of toe the line. I want to say that I was having a conversation with my boss, and he was saying that even Denzel had kind of been buck broken because he had been shot in the butt in some movie that I can't tell you the name of because I don't recall the name of the movie, but that was, you know, it extended even like that far. So even Denzel had been buck broken by the industry. So not that he had to put on a dress or anything or act gay, you know, because that's what people will say, that certain people were able to come up because they did that towing of the line. Yeah, right. Training Day. Thank you y'all. Thank y'all in the chat. But so do y'all agree with me? Because if that's the case, and everybody in this industry has to take a hit in order to get somewhere past where they already are, then isn't this just the same that we've already seen? Like, I'm happy that he's not like gonna be ostracized, but damn it, how many hits do we have to take? Because, well, go ahead. I'm rambling.
No, but you brought up a very important point. But see, I grew up in Chicago, and growing up in Chicago, my first job, the first job I had, making a little money on the side, was handing out stickers, handing out little leaflets to support Mayor Daley when he was running for office. In other words, Chicago is a place where people have to have something on you. See, they have to have something on you. You know, I remember back in the day, you know, that anybody who grew up in Chicago that became a success, they had to have something on you so they could get you later. We were the only city that had a mayor, Rahm Emanuel, that had a finger cut off. Now, you know, if his finger's cut off, that shows that he's part of what? The mob.
The mob.
Yes, that's the mob.
Right.
And yet he was part of that. You know, I remember even back in the day when the Black Power people, you know, like Ira Carruthers, the Comedic Institute used to be in Northeastern Illinois University. And so you'll hear Professor Carr from Howard talk a lot about Ira Carruthers and them. Ira Carruthers and them, they were the same way. You know, to join the Comedic Institute, you had to get a girlfriend. Even if you were married, you had to get a girlfriend. And
so it was like rites of passage into the higher learning.
It wasn't so much a rites of passage. They had to have something on you.
Oh! This is extortion.
Yeah, it was extortion in the sense that down the road, in a sense, you could be caught up because they could say, okay, you've got this girlfriend, you're married, you're trying to keep your wife new. See, growing up in Chicago, it's all about blackmail. It's all about extortion. You see, and so when you see Jonathan Majors, it hasn't even been a year.
Right.
I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised because most of the time they make a brother, in a sense. They make a brother wait a long time, or they try to impact on, because see, they never forget. But you know what might happen?
Tell me.
They got this. Don't tell nobody. Okay. They got this issue now with the Gaza. And because of the fact that they're trying to keep people thinking about Gaza, they don't have time to pick on their Negroes.
Mm.
Yes. They don't have time to pick on their Negroes, but don't tell nobody.
No, mom's the word. My name's Bennett, and I ain't in it. But no, that's a very interesting point, and I think that I've made a similar point in a different argument. There's not enough of them to do the things. People think that they're this big boogeyman that's in all of these different areas, and they're controlling the weather, and they're controlling this, and and not that they don't have hands, right?
Mhm.
But drones are a thing because they don't have the manpower. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Shh, I'm not going to tell them right. And but again, in a sense, is that they do but they do, and they do want to always let you understand. They always want to let you understand that if you've ever done a white person wrong, and I made a mistake years ago. I was working at Iowa State University, and I was the director of the Black Studies, the Black Culture Center there back. And so when I got employed by the head of services, student services, he hated me. And do you know he blacklisted me, and he kept a job for 5 years.
What?
Yes, he blacklisted me. My case, you can if you put against Iowa State University, the case will come up. I took him to the appellate court, and I handled my own case, and I must was pretty good because we had to go to the appellate court. So I was a pretty good lawyer for myself, but it's just so hard because it's so hard when you're fighting racism if you're by yourself. They use it in a sense like a class action suit. And so if you're by yourself, it's hard to get a lawyer to really support you. But so I, once I found out that I was being blacklisted, once I took Iowa State University off my resume, I started getting jobs all over the place, But again, so they do make you pay. They make you pay. And it's very hard to have a comeback because the fact, in a sense, is that Europeans, they take their time, and they're very patient. They're very patient. You see, and you don't want to make a white man mad, because if you make a white man mad, he will get revenge on you. He will impact on you. And so that's why when I saw that Jonathan Majors, it hasn't even been a year, and he's about to maybe get some foreign films, I said, damn, that brother is very lucky. And he's going towards a comeback. But most of the time, in a sense, it's very difficult to be able to make a comeback. And so when you can see somebody making a comeback, I mean, it makes me feel feel overjoyed, even though, in a sense, I don't know if he's able to conquer his CAIDS. That whole idea of culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. He still may not, in a sense, have an intact consciousness, And see, this is very difficult. It's very difficult,
Dr. Winters, did you play basketball?
No, I played football. I was a hack man. Yeah. Yeah, I played football. I played in high school and college, So, I had the white girl thing, When I went to Illinois.
I asked because when I looked up let me delete it, but I looked up this.
It was a Clyde at Iowa who played basketball.
Right, but they said Clyde. Right. How?
That's a different Clyde. I was the head of the Black Culture Center.
So a Clyde at Iowa also had. Wait, where did you say your school was?
I went to the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana.
Illinois. Okay, that's where I glitched because I typed in Iowa. I don't know why.
Yeah, but if you type in Clyde Winters versus Iowa State, the case will come up. I was kind of very proud.
Iowa State when you said it was Illinois.
No, Iowa State. I was kind of proud because I couldn't get a lawyer to handle the case, so I handled the case myself.
Look, Dr. Winters, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, but this is AI. I love AI, and I have a newfound appreciation. My brother is very much into tech. This is what AI said. It says, Clyde Winters, a man who took matters into his own hands, filed a race discrimination action against his former employer, Iowa State University. His beef? Allegations that the university retaliated against him for daring to bring an earlier EEOC charge against them back in the late 70s. Talk about workplace drama, right? And then it gives an upside down smiley face. Like, what the hell is going on?
it's amazing. It's amazing, because because see, if the thing I hate about this is that is that if you really put my name into Google, it'll a lot of stuff will come up, my articles and papers and books, but then the first thing that'll come up is Rational Wiki. Wikipedia is the editor of Rational Wiki. He's an editor at Wikipedia, and he will not let anybody. He will not let anybody.
Wikipedia. I remember you told me that.
He will not let anybody make a Wikipedia page for Dr. Clyde Winters. But they do have a Rational Wiki page, and I'm classified as the biggest racist, on the planet Earth. But I can't blame them because when you've been on the internet as long as I have, and when people can't argue with you, when they can't defeat you, see when you always have in a sense, the receipts to support what you're saying, it kind of scares people, And so then when I saw in a sense, when I heard Professor Black earlier this week talking about that Jonathan Majors was making a comeback, I said, damn, this is too quick. It's too early. But then again, the fact remains in a sense is that those people can't really keep their eyes on you when they want you to support Gaza, and they want you to support the people in Gaza. So they don't have time to really, put that emphasis on you.
Mommy, can I have more? Can you ask Darren?
Yeah.
Thanks. But look, what if the character in Merciless ends up being, someone that we'd be like, damn, you didn't have to do that, like it's not worth it. And then now we find out that that's why he gets pushed back into the public eye so quickly, because he gets to be an example, I don't know. I really hope that it's not that, but like you said, it's so quick that it hasn't been a year. And I don't know that any of his other roles have been so bad. I'm trying to think. There was a movie, I think it was about World War II, but I don't know if he was in it or if I'm mixing him up with somebody else.
He was the pilot in it, and he was a pilot, and then
Mudbound. It was like about two different families during World War II, a white family and a black family. But I don't know if that was Jonathan Majors or somebody else. Because if it's not Jonathan Majors, then he was Ant-Man, and Ant-Man. It's not like.
But he was in a couple of Marvel. I like him as an actor. But the point is this: is that he once you catch Cades, as I'll tell anybody. Once you catch CAIDS, which is culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome, the minute that you think you're as good as white folks, you're on your way down. See, in a racist society, in a society where they feel that they're on top, if you feel that you're just as good as them, you're really wasting your time, because they think you're better than them. And because of the fact that they think that you're better than them, the minute that you think you're just as good as them, you're going to lose out.
That's true. So maybe they think that, again, if everybody in the industry is a puppet of sorts, not that you fully dove in and not that you drink the Kool-Aid, but you're around people that are doing some really nasty things and you're not doing anything about it, as much as you're just there to get your check. You're there to try to make a difference. Some people say that you can break the system from the inside, and then some people say, no, you can't do it that way. You got to break it from the outside. So it's a both and, or an either or, because I don't know. I see that across environments.
You got to look at it from this perspective, is that most of the people in the entertainment field in New York and California, they began where? They began in Chicago. And because they began in Chicago, they all had that attitude that they had to have something on you. They have to have something on you. Yep. They got to get you at the party. They got to get you to act up. They got to get you on assist to do something that they can extort you or blackmail you down the road. And see, the point is this: is that is that this is just a Chicago tradition. It's a Chicago tradition. Even the so-called Black Power and Black Studies people in the 80s, Ira Carruthers and some of the other people, they did the same thing. You know, Ira Carruthers, to join the Kemetic Institute, you had to get a girlfriend. Even if you were married or what have you, you had to have a girlfriend on the side. And so then a friend of mine, I'm not going to name him on the show, a friend of mine, he was outed. I'm not going to tell his name. He was outed because of the fact is that when he was in the hospital, his wife's cousin came to see him in the hospital, and his girlfriend came at the same time.
Ooh.
Oh yes.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yes. And so then his wife, this particular brother, his wife, after that, she started going with white men, I guess, to hurt her husband, to make him feel bad or to bring him down. And so then when you can see somebody able to make a comeback so quickly, because I know that when Iowa State University, when they blacklisted me, what happened is that the head of the psychology department, he took my employment card out of human resource.
That sounds like you can sue for that, which is what you tried to do on your own, and then they sided with the employer. Is that what?
Yeah, they sided with the employer. They gave me a little sheet of paper. At first, they were going to give me $65,000. Then Nixon. Then who was it? A Republican got elected. Then they decided they would fight it. And then what happened is that the EEOC now if you go to the EEOC, if you go to the office today, there's nothing in there but white people. EEOC is full of nothing but white people now, because the fact is that it's been so many Republican administrations, and that a lot of the earlier people have retired, that you go to the EEOC, it's full of white people. So you can't really use the EEOC to really fight for your rights or what have you. But again, in a sense, is that but I was, even though I had that difficulty at Iowa State University down the road, I was able, in a sense, to teach at Governor State University in St. Xavier. So again, so I mean, hey, I still got a chance to teach university, be a professor. But, have my little office. When I was at Governor State, I even had an office with a window. Yes. So, I mean, hey, it was kind of cool. God is great. And see, the whole point is that can you make that comeback? Can you make that comeback whenever, in a sense, these people put obstacles in front of you? And there's a lot of obstacles. I know even you probably had to make a comeback a couple of times, because see, even as a brother, it's hard. Even as a sister, it's hard sometimes to have things go copacetic and go just straight.
That's very true. The comeback is real, but like I said, the comeback is it is a defining point to me about your ability to compete. And I'm a very competitive person. I don't know if I'm going to stop being competitive unless maybe after we win. But even after you win, if you want to stay on top, you have to be able to defend your position. So you would have to continue to be competitive. And I feel like I've always been like that. Some people don't have that about themselves. So then, when they are up against these entities or forces, it's a lot easier to just go with it, because why wouldn't you? It's like when I read about antiquated white people from like chattel slavery times, and they say that it is a mental illness to have fallen for the Black, because why would you give up your position of power to get all of this ostracizing and potential subsequent harm? Like essentially you're saying, I don't give a shit about me anymore. And then because they care so much about the image, they know, okay, fine, you don't care about you, so we got to take you out, because people can't look at you as an example of it's okay to do that. So now you've got consequences for your bad behavior. And look, life's not fair, but that goes back to what we were talking about originally when we started. They can't love you. I mean, I think they love animals more than they love us. And I don't think they can love animals either, because
they love animals.
No. Look, there's laws on the books because they love them so much. Like, I don't think that we had laws that said you can't sleep with sheep, because why would you have slept with a sheep?
Yeah.
But no, there's laws here in the United States that say that bestiality and all of these animal things, and they've been on the books for a long time. And I don't mean like a long time of our story as much as we've been here interrupted with their nonsense. And now it's all doing all of this melting pot thing that I learned in grade school, because they told me that we're in this big ass melting pot and everybody's supposed to be this. It was like they showed me a picture from the National Geographic, and it looked like a Puerto Rican. Like they said that this is what America was going to look like in 20 something. And it was like this light brown hair like mine, not blonde, but like hair like mine and lighter than me, but not white, not a nigga. You know, like it's who knows what's going on. But in real time, the school that I went to, they taught us that it was a melting pot. And the kicker is that, remember, it's not a lot of Black kids at my school. So they're teaching this to themselves, you know, like you're going to have to get with the fact that it's not going to look like what you're used to it looking like. And that's not love as much as it's survival. And then now you got movies like Get Out, and, you know, people.
But you know, it's very complicated, because I really believe, you know, I believe in the sense that you sign up to come on this planet. I believe that you make an agreement with God, and then you decide to come down here. And I believe in a sense that many of the Black people today, family, I'm gonna just tell you, I believe that many of the Black people today were white people in their last incarnation.
I think
and the reason I believe this, the reason that I believe this is that the Black people today, foundational Black Americans, are very cold. They're not warm. You know, they're not warm like when I was growing up. You know, we had a warmth about us. We had in a sense a stability. We also, in a sense, we may not necessarily have had a love, but we were ready to be supportive and helpful. But I don't know, maybe it's the drugs or what have you. But it seems like today that Black people are much more colder. They don't really, in a sense, allow you to really feel that. You know, I remember when I was going to university, white people said, "Oh, you Black people are just so warm. You Black people are just so friendly and loving." And in a way, it was like that maybe in the 60s and 70s and 80s. But it looked like Black people today are much more colder. Some people are on cold, but many of the people, in a sense, they aren't on cold. Many of the people, in a sense, today are very arrogant. When I was growing up, your parents wouldn't allow you to be arrogant. They wouldn't allow you to feel you were better than anybody else. They made you feel that you should always feel you were just as good, maybe even better, but you wasn't supposed to show it. I don't know. You know, I was talking last week to one of my former students, and she was saying, you know, Dr. Winters, most Black people don't have home training. And what she said is that we don't know how to relate to each other. And I think that's very interesting, especially when you think about when you're trying to make a comeback. It's very hard when people, in a sense, don't really see how they can relate to you. You know, I don't know how you see things, but do you also think some Black people haven't been raised right, or they don't know how to socialize properly with other Black people?
Absolutely. I think that all of our experiences as non-white people in America, and inside of this melting pot that they told us, or again, they told me and the people that I went to school with that we were existing in, was there to remove us from our shit. Black Americans remove us from our shit. Because if we look at all niggas as niggas and not as respect, you know, wherever they come from, culture, lineage, or whatever, and it means that we don't have anything of our own anymore, or it means that we're agreeing to share specifically, but you didn't know that that belonged to you as much as you just said that if they're giving it to the blacks, then they're giving it to all of us. From there, uh, absolutely, I think that people's survival and love, they how you saw and witnessed your parents, that was either an example of what to do or an example of what not to do. And then sometimes we succumb to what not to do, even though you tried to avoid it because you saw it. Sometimes people say, I'm not going to do anything you did, and then they still fuck up their lives. So
Right.
it's like, there's levels there, but I
Yeah.
do very much think that home training is, everybody's home ain't the same. So not some people did have home training. It's just how you treat your home and how I treat my home is not the same. My children, I would be, I would probably be embarrassed. Okay, yeah, I think that's appropriate. I'd be very embarrassed if my children, if the minis went over somebody's house and like kicked their feet up on somebody's table, or if they were sitting on like the edge of the couch. I would be extremely embarrassed because they know better. And for what it's worth, I've never had to have any of these don't act crazy out in public conversations as much as they treat the house like a jungle gym and then go out in public and they're angels. And I'm like, what is this? But okay, I'll take it because I'm not paying for shit you broke. And I'm not about to whoop you in the store. No, we'll leave your ass here. No, I'm just kidding. I would never leave them there. But
you might take them in the washroom and kind of talk to them for a minute.
We still don't even have, we've never had to do that with our minis. It's never been a out in public, don't act crazy. But I think that it's a home training thing. Some people don't have the same training. If you wear shoes in your house, that's against the rules at somebody's house.
Right.
So that's home training though, right?
Yeah, because most places you go now, they want you to take your shoes off and, at the door, like Japanese. So
see, I'm sorry. Some people's feet stink. You are not assaulting me with your stinky feet. And I'm not going to like make you feel bad about it because some people have BO that they can, or maybe they only got one pair of shoes. I'm not here to judge somebody as much as, no, you keep your shit on and it's cool. We will sweep and mop or whatever. It's an extra layer of cleaning that we'll do because don't take your shoes off at my house if you're not family. I don't know what you smell like.
Wow. That's the first time I've ever heard somebody bring up the fact that some people have smelly feet. So they shouldn't, in a sense, take their shoes off.
It's offensive to me, or it's embarrassing for them because they know what their feet smell like. And then
some people don't know. Some people don't know. They don't know.
No.
And nobody will tell them. Nobody will tell them. If they light-skinned it and a handsome guy, he can have the smelliest feet he wants. And nobody will ever tell him that he has smelly feet. No.
Oh no. Yoshi, that's an excellent point. Maybe I'll start getting booties but for what it's worth, I have a dog and she goes outside and inside. We sweep and mop because that's a part of our cleaning ritual for the downstairs. The dog doesn't go upstairs with the carpet, but people don't wear shoes upstairs with the carpet. So yeah, no, Mr. Lionheart, I'm with you. I am, but just levels. My dog goes outside and pees and poops. And if y'all think dogs aren't walking in shit, they are. And then, so again, sweeping and mopping as a regular cleaning practice is, I think, necessary for people who don't make people take their shoes off, but as a personal preference. And I don't want people to be embarrassed by their body odor if we can avoid it. So, because, we're actually living in a time where people are removing themselves from different sanitary items because of the chemicals in it. And they haven't quite found the match. but I don't want them to kill themselves because it keeps their underarms fresh. Like, so I want you to get cancer and smell good, or you gonna be a little funky, but you're gonna be here a little longer.
But I don't. But I think in a sense, I think that people should try to, in a sense, smell good. I was thinking the other day that that's the one thing that I miss about work, is that when I was going to work and stuff, I would always wear, a shirt and tie, and I would wear cologne. But now I don't have anywhere to wear cologne. When you're just going to Walmart or the grocery store or the library, you don't really have anywhere to wear a nice cologne. But then I say, damn, I got to spend some money on some nice cologne because just so I can just smell myself with the nice cologne.
It smells nice, right?
I love. I don't know about you with perfume, but I love nice cologne. I love it, and it makes me feel. Makes me feel good in a sense, and I think in a sense is that even though it's kind of silly, and it's a waste of your money because you can just get some soap or whatever, wash up and and all that type of stuff. But sometimes I still like to wear cologne because I feel that that's the apropos.
I am in agreement, but I think that Mr. Lionheart, you're not paying attention. We were talking about home training because home training could be the missing link between people to people dynamics and why people can feel like they are able to get with certain people, black, white, like that, because we're all people. But if we're all people, Dr. Winters, I saw this podcast the other day, and it wasn't the whole podcast. It was a clip of 2 white women talking about bathing. And yes, everybody knows that there's been this very big thing about them not using washcloths. But what bothered me is the fact that they joked about it because neither one of them use a washcloth. But then one of them was trying to let the other one know, like, people don't like that about us. Like, and then the other one is like, what do you mean? Like, why are we dirtying up more things? She's got all these reasons for why you wouldn't use a washcloth. So then the other one says, get this, you guys, it was gross. Yes, Yoshi, she says, so how do you wash your ass? And then the other one says, with my hands. And then they fucking laugh for like 5 minutes. And I'm just like, that's why we have problems we have right now, because home training is not the same across homes. Like, people.
I was surprised when that came out. I was really surprised when that came out that white people didn't use face towels to wash up with, and when they take showers or they take baths. I was really surprised because how do you wash up? How do you wash up with just soap? To me, that's what it when I grew up, that's what my parents
had me floored. They said people were saying that doctors who scrub in for surgery only wash their hands with soap and water. So why are we doing more for the rest of our body? And these people are scrubbing in for surgery. And I'm like, do they just watch TV? Because I've been around doctors and surgery and I've seen the brushes and I've seen they actually wash like all the way up their arm and then they put on protective gear. So it's not just that they're washing their hands, but they've got supposed to be a sterile tool, sterile them before they start working on somebody. But these people were saying that if you wash your hands with your hands, why do you wash your hands with a washcloth? I mean, bitch, if I'm in the shower, I kind of do. Like it's all relative, but in the sink, no. That's not the same argument to me, but it's the home training argument. And I'm sorry, Mr. Lionheart, because I know I kind of went all around Robin Hood's barn, but I think that it's necessary because, again, we were talking about Jonathan Majors. He kind of crashed out with them people. They said, it's okay. You can still get work. But that never happens because not only did he crash out with them, but they don't like when you get with their women, in a very bad way, right? They normally take that as a very big
It's
dig.
complicated, isn't it? Because you know that guy. I think it all depends because you know the guy that used to play with Will Smith on that show that he used to have. You know, and he has the Spanish guy who he does the home videos every Sunday. They look like they don't mind that he's with a white girl because he has that Spanish surname. I think a lot of times it's just that they don't want you to have that they don't want you to be, you know, a black person. I think marrying their women because remember in a sense it decreases their race and they can't get it back. They can't get it back. I was listening to this woman the other day and she was talking to Tariq Nasheed and she's talking about how she wanted to make the world better and make everybody equal. She's going to make everybody equal, and that would be a way that black people could come up, and that black people could make a comeback by everybody starting off with nothing except the X amount of money, you know, and that was the way in a sense. And it's funny how if you associate with a white woman or a white man, they still feel that they should dominate you. They still feel in a sense that they should be able to dictate how you should live or how you progress. And I think that's one of the reasons why I say that a black person, a white person cannot love a black man or a black woman because the fact in the sense is that there's always going to be that idea that they had to be on top. They had to be number one. And so when I saw that Jonathan, you know, Majors was possibly going to be making some movies, even if he's making them overseas, it's still that whole idea of him being able in a sense to make such a move in such a quick period of time. Most of the time, they don't let you do that, you know, because that particular district attorney in New York, you know, to me he's very anti-black. He's very anti-black, and I remember this Spanish woman. She had assaulted a black child, and you know, took his phone and stuff and other things, and she was, you know, and this brother, you know, this brother in a sense he was still trying to cover for them, you know, still trying to always, in a sense, find a way to put a brother down. And so it's very difficult to really make a comeback sometime when you have so many tools, so many black people who act as tools for white people to keep other black people in check, keep other black people from progressing. It's very difficult to me.
That's the buffer class, though. That's like Joe Biden. I want to say it had to have been 2020, but he said that racism didn't exist anymore. And then he cut to a bunch of commercials that had interracial relationships as the dominant characters in the commercial. I mean, it's like from DoorDash to whatever popular brand. And in real time, it's what we've been talking about. Just because you can sleep white or they can sleep black doesn't mean that there isn't a power dynamic. But here's my question for you, devil's advocate style. If they can't love each other, can they agree to do business together? And then if they can, then now the gates are open, the levees are open, because we're not in love as much as we're in a partnership and we're about making some money. And, you know, the rules are different, right?
I think in a way almost, but at the same time, you know, when you look at these successful black people, they always got one of those people. They always got their own personal one of those people, you know, and because of the fact in the sense that they're able to get one of those people who come from Europe, and some call them Ashkenazis. As long as they can find their own Ashkenazi, a lot of times it's a way to success. Come on now, just about every successful entertainer always had his own personal Ashkenazi to really in a sense put him into a position where he can move forward, and so then I think that it's complicated. I think it's complicated because but you know what I found interesting is that over my lifetime I found that Jewish people will marry black people, you know, much more often than the average other European. You know, I found that interesting, you know. And you know, because I find that group, in a sense, they're ready, in a sense, maybe to give a sister some type of or a brother, bring them into the into the family. But I think that even though they allow that, it's still, when you're trying to make that comeback, when you're trying to get back on the top, is very difficult because of the fact, in the sense that there's things to hold you back. Yeah. They can join us. They can join. Your friend can join us. Let him join. He can join us.
It's the minis don't have school. It's summertime, so then they're all like, "Ooh, what can I get into?" And it's like, no, you don't need to get into anything down here because we're doing this. But I think they went back upstairs, so it's okay.
Well, the thing is this: is that they have to be able to do things. Oh yeah, I remember my son, my oldest son. He told me, he said, "Pops, I'm not going to be like you. I'm not going to be like you." You see, and so he said. So his daughter, it was in their living room. His daughter had a spot where she would just color on the wall and all that type of stuff, and the wall was looking all dirty and nasty, and there was a big spot on the wall, and it was, and so then one day I came over to his house, and I said, "Hey, what happened to that big spot?" And he said, "I whooped her ass." I said, I thought you said you wasn't going to whip your children like me. Well, I had to whoop her ass. See,
that's kind of rough though, but go ahead.
But it's kind of hard. But see, I don't know about you, but see, it's funny how you always have one child. You always have one child that feel that if they're not getting a spanking, that they're not being really recognized by mom or dad. Mm-hmm. You always got one, and you don't want to do it, but in a way, it seems as though they want to do things so that they can be recognized, and then then later, in a sense, they can say you were a mean pops or a mean mom, but it's always that one child. You see.
That's very interesting. If you have more than one, right? Because if if you only have one, then the acting out because not getting attention, that might be some neglect going on, or some just perceived. I don't know if a child can be entitled to attention. People would say that you're carrying your baby too much, or you're spoiling your baby. Can you spoil a baby, or is this what they're supposed to be getting because of their developmental nature and how they learn? And I don't know. I always thought that was a very big gray area of how people said that you're supposed to nurture or rear. Because I guess you could just leave them there and let them cry. But same way on your feet, I'm not trying to hear that shit. And if you're a little baby and you can't talk, that might be why you're crying, because you can't talk. That's your.
But the funny thing is when you have children, within 2 years of each one, it seems as though you can start to understand their cries. Certain cries, you can tell the way they cry what they want. You can kind of tell it if you.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, so the oldest is 8 years. Is she 8 years older than the youngest one? I don't know, but yeah, 2, 3, something like that. They all got very small increments like that in between. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why I was able to differentiate between the cries. But for the most part, babies don't just cry unless there's something wrong. I haven't been around a baby that has colic before, so I found
I hate that.
Like that. But what I've learned is that colic is they're reacting to a stimuli that you haven't acknowledged. So it could be that they were overstimulated that day and they're processing so much and they can't tell you, like, you bitch, you fucking went to the store and you got on the train and then watch this and then talk it. Like, the baby can't tell you that this is too much today. I should have just been home. Like,
but when they get colic, boy, that's a bad day.
They start crying and they don't stop. Bad day. Yeah. That's their method of communication at that point. So back in the day, people would say colic is just the baby just crying for no reason. Now there's studies that say that no, it's just overstimuli or something that you haven't acknowledged or accepted or know about yet. It could be but they don't feel good, and you just haven't taken their temperature or seen that they haven't pooped in 4 days, or it's a lot. But
it's just like my third son. When he was born, he had diarrhea real bad, and the thing is, this is that it was very hard to stop it, and that's when we found out about Calpete, because see, a lot of times, your babies can die when they have diarrhea a lot, but I really feel in the sense that it's kind of good. It's kind of good when your babies are separated, between 2, maybe 3 years, because if they're separated, that you in a sense you can pay better attention to them. You may not, as a man, you may not like the fact that your wife may have a baby in bed and the baby is always on the breast or whatever. You may not like that, but the thing is, this is that you get a better understanding of your children. I think you can become closer to your children when you have them kind of young. I think that's one of the reasons why I think that you don't want to have them old. But I don't know. I didn't have my kids when I was old. I had them when I was young. So that's how I feel.
Say that you have more patience when you're older.
I don't think so.
Some people say that when you're younger, you grow with them. They're growing with you. They're learning. You were a little baby adult, and then as they grew up, you turned into the adult. Like you didn't really have that shit together, and now they calling you to ask you about how do you fill in the insurance card part of the health forms, or Lord forbid, heavens to Betsy, the people who had their mom come with them to the job interview, because we did talk about that one time.
Yeah. But I mean, it's interesting, I think that sometimes moms can be helpful. Some moms aren't too helpful nowadays, because some grandmas, they're out there out at the club.
Yeah, they are definitely out there competing. But I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. But maybe you should know the environment so that you don't look foolish. Some people think that, okay. Tia, the twin that got divorced from her black husband.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that the move? Because now she's out here looking like a person who is needing attention. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with how she wants to do that. But if she wanted the things that she keeps saying that she wants, then she kind of already had that. So maybe everybody, we're never going to know the whole story, right? The same way that they're never going to know all of Clyde, and they're never going to know all of Eve. And, we only know what we know of people because this is what they put out there for you to know. And then maybe y'all are sneaky, find out more. But
it's very difficult, because I know I remember my wife told me that she wanted to find herself, and that scared the hell out of me. I said, damn, what about me? But she didn't cheat on me or leave me or whatever. But it's this whole idea is that it's very complicated. I think it's very complicated whenever you're in a relationship, with your woman, is that your woman has her own individual ideas, her own individual feelings, and I think the more that a man allows his wife to do what she wants to do, I think it's better. I think that if you want to tie a woman down, or you want to, you have to do that. But the hardest thing with most women is that the best wives are adventurous. The best wives, in a sense, they like that they're kind of creative, and so you can't be boring. And so that's hard. It's very hard for some men, not to be boring. And the thing is, this is that if you allow your wife to have that creativity, if you allow your wife, in a sense, I think, or your woman, to be able to feel free enough to do the things that she wants to do, and you go along with a lot of it, and then sometimes you just say no. As this is the hardest thing. You may not believe this, Eve, but it's hard for a man to tell his woman no. It's very hard. It's very hard, but we have to say no. But we have to say no sometimes, because your woman wants you to say no. If you say yes all the time, your woman becomes bored and she begins to feel that that you don't really care. Why are you letting me do this, or why are you letting me do that?
Right.
So you got to sometimes say no. You got to sometimes engage in an argument. You can know that your wife or your girlfriend wants to argue, and you don't really want to argue, but you go ahead and say, well, I'll argue for a little while, make her feel good, and then go back to what you're doing. But again, it says you can't let her know. But this is all part of that whole idea. So it's just like when you're trying to keep things going, and it's just like that's one of the things that made it so interesting about Jonathan Majors being able to make this comeback, because the fact is that it's very hard in a sense to make a comeback in any type of relationship, even if it's a relationship with the community, even if it's a relationship with your peers. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to be able to make those comebacks and stuff.
I agree. Do you think that we could come back with some commercials?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'll be right back. Thank you.
Okay.
So dreamy.
Hey, I've just written a new book.
So dreamy.
Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of America. Yes, I've written a new book. This book is called History and Culture of Afro-Americans. It's about the Aboriginal Americans. It's about the first people who inhabited America. Many people don't know about our great culture, this super culture that we created, but I discussed this book. In 489 pages, you'll find out so much information, great information, about, in a sense, what the Aboriginal foundational Black Americans did. You're going to see, in a sense, that Black people contributed much here. When the first Europeans got here, that's what they found. Yes, they found Black Aboriginals inhabiting the Americas. It was the Black Aboriginals that built this country. This is why you had to get my book, History and Culture of the Aboriginal Blacks of the Americas. In this book, you will find out the truth. You will know what we created. You will know who we are. Get this book. Buy it now.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4Just_Us. That's JUSTICE, 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
Today is the day. We need to homeschool our children due to white supremacy. In many states, education departments are passing laws to deny our children from learning the history of foundational Black Americans. Today, you can learn how to organize and teach your children in a homeschool in my book, A Guide to Homeschool Foundational Black Americans. You can use my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877, to teach our children their history here in the United States. You can use my book to teach world history. And this book I've written is called The World History of the Black World. This will teach your children about every Black civilization in the world. Get this book. The time is now. Get these books to teach your children about their greatness, to prevent them from losing confidence in their own ability to learn and be successful future adults in employment and education. Support Yoshima Productions. The brother can make your website, your handouts. He can make things so beautiful. Check out Yoshima, support him, and he can help to make whatever program you're trying to do can make it even better. Buy my book, Atlantis in Mexico. In Atlantis in Mexico, you will learn about the great Olmec civilization of Mexico. Yes, the Olmec civilization of Mexico. In this book, I tell you about how it was the Olmecs who invented the calendar that are used by the Maya today. It is the Olmecs who are the mother culture of Mexico. Buy my book, Atlantis in Mexico. Learn about the Olmecs. Learn about their civilization. Learn about the wonders that they left the Mexican people. You can purchase my book at Amazon.com.
Touch your heart with a dinner rose. Shake the spirit one time, it gets old. She gon' take me out of space into another zone. Free spirit, she ain't messing with them petty hoes. Microwaves and cobalt outside her phone. Fucking in that vibe and smoking good on that drone. Call me eat the night with the cuz all up in a fro. This queen approach, she gon' drop it low to the flow. You know she liquid gold with the alchemy in the bowl. Trippy super soul is the greatest tale never told. She gon' get you right, you can set up on your goals. You gon' spend the night in the harmony out with your toes. You know she super fine and the aura down to her bones. Super magic fairy, I'm lost in the rituals. She give me life like butterflies on the rose. Really rich and old, ain't nothing like cracker trolls. Hidden in the clothes, an extraterrestrial. And she never fold, trap crackers up in the throat. She drink your wine, she rock you up like a bow. And she spark my mind with intellectual codes. Shake butter oils and linger up in your nose. Independent goddess and rhythm up in the soul.
Yellow honey, drip slow, sweet agave, at the toe. Independent finance, wine, citrus mist. My Wonder Woman, I wonder how to.
Buy my book, Nationality and the Law. In this book, we discuss the importance of race and identity among many African Americans. I explore the genesis of the so-called blacks from an ethnogenesis of Black Irish, Black Aboriginals, and Sub-Saharan Africans. In this book, you will understand how they were separated into two races and why we call, in a sense, the Caucasian race the white race today. Buy my book, The Nationality and the Law. You'll enjoy it.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Buy my book. Buy my book, Blacks in Europe. This is one of the most important books that you'll find on the market today. In this book, I discuss the rise of Black people in Europe. I have a special section on the so-called Baradinaks. The Baradinaks are the black people that formerly lived in Britain who were sold into chattel slavery in the 13 colonies and in the Caribbean. Buy this book, Blacks in Europe. You can get this book at Amazon.com. Buy this book today. Learn about the black nationalities that lived in Europe. Learn that Europe was once a black continent. Buy my new book. Okay, again, when you really think about, I hope you guys will support some of those projects, especially check out Yoshimod, the genius, because he's always creating such beautiful stuff. Like this is one of his videos that I really like a lot. And let me see, boom. I love this video, so I just want to show it.
On my grandmother was in the maid. You know, honey, and let me astray. What is the truth that was going on with me? Don't be cool and just have a nice day. Some things are just easy to say. Wish I could stop me from breathing a day. You want no food and they swimming on me. Out in the ocean away from the bay. I've been drifting a lot far away. I get up in to get them away. See what you see when I'm just in that stay. What's been the lane and they want me to drink. Drink to the crown, it don't suit me. Mine unfortunately, drinking my sorrow. Swimming in Apollo, sleeping in hollow. Bringing the idol, listen to Carlo, listen to borrow. Living the borrow, living the car. Shooting a hollow, shooting a porno, about the Cardinals, and then now you're look out in the eye, all know, see it, like it's a pyramid. Hey, they something get that is affirmative. All of them is a biz, keep the hook to the ring. Till it's the color quiz, that's what the mission is. We are not getting big, music, I'm feeling it. Harder than sealing it, all like I'm feeling it. Killing, we're killing it, feeling it. Swimming in spaceships off in the shore until they get pissed. Deep in my mind, you're swimming on baby hollow. And at any given time, my baby follow. Around the ocean and my baby hollow. At any given time, my baby follow. Around the ocean and my baby hollow. At any given time, my baby follow. Around the ocean and my baby hollow. At any given time. I need like super genie, what a fiend, take you to Feeny. How when they see me, fancy bikini, nothing but weenie, wearing a beanie, fully McGinney. Change up the scenery, changing the scenery. Show me your misery, so many lies of me. Probably got you on TV, believe me, pulling your mirrors, killing the name. They never just admit that they got me. Machiavelli could have never been sloppy. We can see it's nothing but copies. Listen, cook up in that lobby. Billie Holiday just was a body. George Clinton committed them robberies. It seems he went for the lottery. This all falls in one category. We all call it a mystery. I'm the villain you all see. They glory to those who all see. Pendergrass set up like Eddie Murphy. No car crash, they just hating on me. Gotta make a comeback like Bill Cosby. Kobe Bryant playing conspiracy. Get me back for taking a knee. But they just be kidding me. Like in my turban, hit when I'm swerving. Like those curses, sipping up a curve, then more laceration. Exclamation, no motivation. Straight elimination, your animation. Alienation, annihilation. All for the taking, taking like taking. Moment faking, let's personation. Who you saving? Change like Raven. Say me David. Had to shake 'em, moving brave. I'm you craving. Even Jaden save 'em. Taylor paving. Who we faking? Harry make 'em misbehaving. We the brave before we drown in the water. Got a deep dive. I'm in the ocean and I may be hollow. Any given time, my baby follow. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. Any given time, my baby follow. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. Any given time, my baby follow. I'm on the ocean and I may be hollow. Any given time, my baby always one who just got rain. Came from the cave, came from the main, created the slave. Step out of water, fiction is harder. Why do they bother? Over my head, first like a daughter. Same boat, same thing, only in slaughter. Still throw jet bro, seconds of harder. Just by life, should it be harder? On my nation, make things water. See how they come, all in fun. Force me to gun, force me to the slum. Live up the crumb, father, son. Faces beyond, live as one. Betraying the nuns, speak for the young. Nobody's dumb, maybe just some of the young. Maverick approach, truth by Yojo. And the patty will grow, just as the Oko came off the O-Phone. E-I-E-I-O-E-L song. Turning the wheel until it's all gone. Gotta go deeper, dive with the people. Some turn lethal, neighbors is evil. Go from the right, give up the fight. No human right, killing on sight. Many to spare, many beware. I see that I'm there, I see that I'm here. Ready with flares, calling all bad. All genders in here, we the illusion, not disappear. As hard as my chin, deep dive. I'm an illusion and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be follow. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be follow. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may be follow. I'm out the ocean and I may be hollow. At any given time, I may die.
Support Yoshimod. Yoshimod has some great work, and check the brother out because the thing is that he's producing some great videos, and go to Yoshimod's website and support him. Also, you can buy some of his music. You can buy it at Gumroad.
It is about intellectual genius. Yoshi is, I think he's a genius, and timing is so crazy because in real time we had a conversation with Chaiwara. I can't say his name, but Chaiwara. Thank you. And that was a very humbling conversation, but it reignited my purpose. And tonight, Life's Not Being Fair conversation, I like that you were able to tie it to Jonathan Majors, which is yes, Brother Raxton. Thank you, Yoshi. I like that you gave it a reference that people can look at in real time. But when I think about like a major comeback, or Majors making a major comeback, I don't know if it's a comeback if you aren't doing anything for us. I hate to always bring it back to our specific fight and what we're going through. And then you've got different types of employees across different environments, people who make more than other people, but maybe they're also spending more. People look at the stars and entertainers as these resourceful, high value people, and maybe you make more than them on a take home status because you're not spending out as much as they're spending to have to live the life that they're living. Maybe they do make more, but their out of pocket expenses mean that they are coming home with less. But yeah, they get the flashy, they get to be in these places, but again, they're tangible assets and what they value. The skills might not be equal. So a major comeback, I'm glad that he's able to still exist in an environment that he wants to exist in. But at some point, Black people are going to have to shit or get off the pot. We say that we don't have representation, we don't have the movies, we don't have things. And then people start making those things, but you see like them other people's influence. The main character will end up being gay or in an interracial relationship or asexual, or they turn into a Muppet. It's like all of these different things that Black people have to deal with regards to representation in media. But these other people don't have that. And is it a comeback if you're not doing anything? If you just came back to where you were, I mean, that's cool. I want everybody to be able to eat, but I want us to win. You know what? Life's not fair. And no, I don't think that you should have to be fighting this fight. I think that it should have been fought and won a long time ago. But no, you don't just get to live. Not if you're Black in America, not if you're of our lineage. We've got work to do,
But I think you also have to define what is winning. What is winning? I'll agree. I think that it was only. I think that it was only with Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby. They tried to make some movies back in the 70s, and they made some movies that highlighted our history. Because whereas when you look at people like Jonathan Majors and some of the other actors, they got this money. You got this other brother. He has his own production company. I think he has his own ranch. Tyler Perry, and yet even though they're not producing any real stuff that really relates to Black people, they're not really trying to do things. Okay, because let's look at the Japanese. When the Japanese when they made their movies, especially anime, they go to what? They go to a great period in their history, which was the I love anime, and they go to the period of the ninjas and the show and all that. To highlight that aspect. The white people in America, when they made their movie industry, they based their movie industry on westerns. Building westerns, and because that was supposed to have been a great period in the American West.
Right.
When you look at Black people who don't produce any films themselves, they allow other people to project our history as boys in the hood.
Right.
Some drug dealers, some criminals. And
Right.
I'm not going to lie. Back in the day, back in the 70s, I mean, hell, I wanted to be a pimp. Everybody wanted to be a pimp, and it's stupid, but that was a cultural thing. And
Is it stupid though? I mean, the way that you
stupid.
depict the pimp. No, I don't know. If this is your example for success, and this is what they're pushing on you, I've gotten to a point where I'm trying to be less judgy. I feel like I'm very judgmental. Baseline Eve is just a judgmental bitch. But I tried to only really judge people on something that, like, I wouldn't tell you to do something that I haven't done, or that I wouldn't do, or that I have, I try not to put something on anybody that I wouldn't or haven't done myself. From there, it's like being.
But I felt that we should have standards. I felt that.
Go ahead.
I felt that back in the 70s, I mean, I felt in a sense, I felt that I could have been a pimp. because ladies consider me a handsome person. They consider me to be handsome and all that type of stuff, and so they always wanted to throw themselves at me. So I could have maybe used a lot of girls and women. Yes, I could have. Back in the day when they considered me handsome, I don't think I'm handsome now. But the thing is, this is that I didn't want to go that far. I didn't want to be a gash man. I didn't want to just use women and then throw them to the side, because I felt that's what destroyed our whole being. I think that destroyed the Black family, because there was so many women. I think I think a lot of women, when they have their babies, when they become baby mamas, is because some brother lied to them, told them they loved them, they cared about them. Maybe not all the time, but I think about 98% of the time they lied to the girl. And so then I felt, in a sense, that I don't think you should be a liar. I didn't want to be a gash man, even though I could have been a gash man. A gash man is somebody who uses women, screw everybody you can find, F them and leave them.
Like a brother fucker.
What is it? The 3 F's: find them, F them, and forget them. So that was the way it was in the community growing up. The 3 F's: find them, F them, and forget them. But the thing is this, that I didn't think that was the right thing to do, because I felt that was what was destroying our community. Because see, I still feel, maybe I'm wrong, but I still feel that the average woman who becomes a baby mama, somebody lied to them, and they believed them. I when I was going to college, I looked at these guys. They gave somebody a baby back at home, and then they come to college. They play on the football team, and they go find a white girl. And then after they can't play anymore, and the white girl divorce them, then they're looking for a sister. And so
to hold them down.
Yeah, and so then I felt that brothers who make baby mamas and don't tend to their children and the baby mamas, I think they have a lot of hate against them, and I think that woman is always hating them, and I think that's why a lot of brothers can't become successful, and a lot of brothers, lose out, because of the fact that they use people, they cheated, they used that girl, they cheated on the girl, and then therefore, in a sense, when their life doesn't go the way they want it, a lot of times that's the way it is, like when I first used to listen to the Black Authority, and the Black Authority, he couldn't, when I first started listening to him, if a woman called him up, he couldn't talk to that woman for 5 minutes without getting in an argument and saying, "Get off of here." Now that he's trying to be the new Kevin Samuels, he kind of lets women talk a little bit longer. But again, I could tell that this brother was mixed up, and that this brother, in a sense, but because of the fact that he has standing in the so-called new Black media, then a lot of people look up to him. But I always saw him as a simp, But as a person, I saw him as a simp, and because I felt he was a simp because he couldn't talk to women. He couldn't let the women talk on his show. He lets them talk now. But back in the day, he didn't allow a woman to talk for 2 minutes, and then his ass was arguing with her.
That's the barbell. He's very familiar with the barbell. That's so funny because, in real time, kindred spirits, right? He's very judgmental. I'm very judgmental, but it's not the same because, again, I don't know that I've ever wanted someone to go out and do something that I would never do. And in real time, he's, he talks a good game. And then, he's on a list. That's why he can't show up to places. And that's why he doesn't do public appearances, because the government has him on a list. And I mean, if it's a list on, what you just said.
A list of Sims. A list of Sims.
He might be the authority on pookieing and simping, but I don't know about anything else. But here's the caveat. The major comeback, Black America will always be able to make a comeback here because this is ours. I think that you can be a victim of Cades, but that's part of our story. Like right now, we're not in a solution-based environment. We are still in a survival, struggle, and war zone. So it's like it's not fair to really, I guess it's like Neely Fullerisms that I'm getting to, because we're all victims inside of the prison. So how can another prisoner, feel any kind of way about another prisoner? Neither one of y'all have solved the solution of getting out of the prison, right? So,
Yeah.
but
you gotta admit now, when you're in prison, if you're that principal, and you got a lot of money on the books, and you can get those honey buns. I mean,
right?
that gives you a little status, and I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We are prisoners of war, and that we shouldn't see, but at the same time, we have to celebrate sometime. I'm an athlete, and because of the fact I used to play football, I know you were. I think you were in track, basketball, stuff like that. And so then, when you're a winner, you're a winner. I'm not going to tell a lie. When they used to write a newspaper article and they mentioned me, I mean, it's 24 people on the team. And then when I had the few write-ups I had in my, the few write-ups I got when I was playing at Illinois, I mean, damn, that made me feel good. It stood out that I was mentioned in the newspapers. And so that's the whole point is that yes, we're prisoners of war. Yes, you shouldn't want to play up other prisoners of war. But the point is that you do like to be recognized. You do like to be recognized. And even in a sense, it's just like you have to sometimes know that some things are important, and that is through the recognition. That's one of the reasons, in the sense that I think that you can have a comeback, is that sometimes you can maybe fall on your face, but sometimes you can pick yourself up and you can come back. Because I'll tell you, when I was being blacklisted by the University of Iowa State University, I went 5 years and I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job for 5 years, and the thing is that I didn't know why. My wife, she said, that's because those people blacklisted you. I said to myself, she don't know what she's talking about. Because I said, we had an agreement. But see, that was back before I had to submit to the Mother Goddess. I'm not going to tell a lie, family. Now I'm domesticated. Even though if my wife was still alive, I would still probably sometimes be a contrarian, because of the fact that your woman doesn't want you to always be perfect. You got to be a contrarian sometimes. But the point is that I long so much for those conversations at 12 o'clock at night, or those conversations when you're really getting deep with your partner, and you can really hash some things out. See, a lot of people they feel that the best relationships are relationships in which you're trying to make up after you argue. No, the best relationships are relationships when you can communicate some idea across to another person, and that person can say, okay, hey, I might go along with that, and then and another thing is when you got a good woman, Eve, and you got a good woman, when you go out and you talk some stupid ish and stuff, your wife should look at you a certain way and say, that really sounds stupid, don't you think? And you'll know, in a sense, that you're going to be told off when you get home. But a good woman never fronts you off in front of anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's family, they never front you off. They wait until they get you home, and then they whoop your ass mentally. You see, and this is what you need, because see, I think that in any relationship, and if you want to make a comeback in any type of field, any type of area, you have to have somebody who can tell you the truth. You need the truth. You need the truth. And see, the majority of people don't like the truth. That's why a lot of people who become entertainers and successful, they have these hangers on, and they follow you around, and they always tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes you need the truth.
No, all the time you need the truth. Even if you know you look fat in that dress, and you asked, do I look fat in this dress? You know that somebody needs to tell you that you're poking out in places that you're not supposed to be poking out in. But in real time, you want them to ignore it. But no, you need the truth, because honestly, I don't know why people would want to be out here looking foolish outside of, it's just, if I don't call you out on your shit, you can't call me out on my shit. So now we can all just have our own just messes and just be imperfect. And I don't think that perfection is attainable, because I think it's one of those words where, what's perfect for me might not be perfect for you.
But that's what makes perfection right. That's what makes it correct, Eve. It is what's perfect to you. What's perfect to you is important. It doesn't matter what's perfect to someone else.
But see, now the conversation, it slides, because home training, who you love, all of these things are personal connections to an idea. And then in real time, some people are fighting a fight that other people don't even want to acknowledge, because they're so much past it, or they're so far away from, so far removed from physical trauma. They live in a fairy tale, a gated community of sorts. Black people who've never had to struggle meet up with a person from the streets, and the stories are going to sound very different until maybe we start talking about specific family members, and maybe like our ancestral story starts to connect. But my not having to worry about a drug dealer on the corner or getting shot, because that doesn't happen where I live, but it happens where you live, it's like, does it mean that my perfection isn't perfect? Because it's one of those words, it's a sliding scale. From there, the comeback, if the comeback is just to come back and be an employee, I don't know if that's a comeback. If the comeback is like Muhammad Ali, and you get to stand on business, and you get to speak truth to power, and they tried to ostracize you and you just were the shit. Yeah, I like stories like that. And I think that there's more of us that have stories like that, but we've been conditioned to think that boasting or talking about our wins is not the move. But they talk about their wins. They make up wins. A lot of their heroes are made up shits that they've taken from other people's stories.
Right.
But they get to claim it. And then, for example, Black Panther Wakanda versus like actual kings and queens from the continent. Girls looking up to fictional Disney princesses that are Black. I'm sorry, Black girls looking up to fictional Disney princesses, when you've got like Queen Nzinga and Hatshepsut, and you've got king queens, and all sorts of very powerful women, real powerful women that have really interesting stories that it didn't have to be a made up story to connect to, but they got to make up some shit because they don't have any powerful stories like that. So their comebacks are fraudulent. They're already down there, and then I made a comeback. Robert Downey Jr. never went anywhere. He was a drug addict the whole time. They liked his whiteness. He's talented, and white people with drug issues are probably more interesting than the ones who are square. So now we get to watch him self-destruct on screen. It's not us, but look at him go. Iron Man, whatever character he put himself on.
And that's true, and he did do that. But I think the beauty of it is what I liked about hearing about Jonathan Majors is the fact, in a sense, is that true. He's not really of the culture. He's not really of the culture. Nobody's really of the culture that's really recognized by Europeans, because Europeans, they don't want to recognize anybody that's for the culture. Mm-hmm. There's like a lot of people, they always say, Dr. Winters, you should have themes on your shows that deal with entertainment, regular people. And I tell them I want to talk about what the hell I want to talk about. I don't give a damn what these other people want. I don't care. And see, and the thing is, then people say, well, if you don't care, then why are you out there? It's because I feel that I want to share certain knowledge, just like tonight. We started off with this whole topic of life's not fair. Granted, every now and then, I don't care who you are, family, and you can try to pretend, but every one of you, at least one time in your life, you felt that life was not fair. you felt that you should have got something when somebody else got it. You may have been in high school and you were that fantastic singer, but the choir director had his favorites, and so he made Mary, in a sense, get to be a lead when she had a crackly voice, but because he liked her, as a person, I'm not saying intimately, but because he liked her and she knew how to kiss the right ass, she got more presentation than you got. And so then I think there's nothing wrong with understanding that you had to go through this process. I like the whole idea of making a comeback because, knowledge is power. And when you know that people are out there trying to hold you back, it's very important. I had this brother tell me, he said that me and some of the other people, we're going to make sure that nobody ever hears about your research, Dr. Winters. And we're going to make sure, Clyde, that people don't even know you exist. And they thought they could do that. But hey,
Haters.
now I've been on YouTube for at least 10 or 15 years. But the point is that I still get out there and I still present the knowledge to the people, and they couldn't hold me back. They can't hold you back. Just like Eve, like that guy said, you're a beautiful woman. But the whole point is that they don't understand, in a sense, that it's not just being a beautiful woman. It's a lot of beautiful women, but it's having that mind. It's having that genius. It's being able, in a sense, to construct concepts, in a sense, ways of thought that really allow you to really see the beauty of a person. To me, that's how I see it. And so then you find these people and they say, aha, forget about him, forget about her. But then you have to, in a sense, be impressed when anybody can make a comeback.
Absolutely. I love the underdog story, and the one that you don't think is going to win, because again, it speaks to a person's competitive nature. And I will always respect someone who is still fighting. You haven't given up. It's the fat lady never sang, but some people give up before the match is over. It's sad to me, but I also know that some people never played. I cannot wait for me, you, and Devon to have this conversation about playing, because I think that I don't know if it's part of home training, but maybe it is. Maybe dads play with their children in a competitive nature, and then moms kiss the boo-boos, because daddy's gonna dunk on you. I don't know. I didn't have one of those, but I see my minis dad. I see how he acts with them. I see how his father acted with them, and I see other people's dads and how they are teaching their children to compete, and then the mom is teaching them how to care, to feel. And those pieces of the home training, it is missing from a lot of people's families.
It is, and it's very important is that you don't like to not have the knowledge, but I think that sometimes when you're a parent, if your child tells you something that's not real serious, but serious to them, and they don't want you to tell your partner, I don't think you should. I think that there's certain things, in a sense, that that if your child doesn't want, the other parent to know, maybe you shouldn't tell them. But if you do tell them, then you can't act on it. You see, and I think it's very important, in a sense, because is that each parent has to build a relationship up with each one of their kids. Yeah, your kid's always going to say, well, mama, so-and-so is your favorite because you always let him do X, Y, Z. Favorites come in, favorites come, favorites go, But the whole point is that you try not to have favorites, but if you're a mom, that baby, because that baby needs you so much, it's usually your favorite. And then the next baby comes as the favorite because they act like they need you so much.
I like that you said it like that. This is what I've always told them. And it's so wonderful that they're all very specific. I have a favorite 12-year-old, and it's a girl. I have a favorite 9-year-old. It's a boy. I have a favorite boy twin. I have a favorite girl twin, and then I have a favorite almost 5-year-old, and and they'll ask me, they'll say, am I your favorite? And I'm like, yeah, you're my favorite. Insert whatever caveat I just gave you, because they are across the world. You can't, there's not going to be another boy twin that's going to be my favorite. That's not the one that came from me. And same for all of the other ones. But right now, the baby right now, you said the baby is the favorite. I don't know if he's the favorite, but when you name your children, y'all got to be very careful and specific once you name the energy that's coming from you, because I think that they wear their names well if you allow them to exist comfortably, naturally, safely, and inside of a loving home. Inside of that, survival or nurture, how do people grow up, and then what is it that they're giving to the world? What's missing? Can you blame your parents for your mommy issues and why you don't make it with women when you're 47?
You can if you're the you can if you're the
cooking.
You can if you're the stop. Eve, stop it, Eve. You keep cutting it out. You can if you're the you can. And you won't let me tell the truth because so many people like that person and they don't know that he's full of it.
Soon.
No,
soon. Time is, we're going to have to talk about time one of these days, because it's one of those things that they've told us that we understand that we really don't understand. And then inside of our misunderstanding, we're not having the same conversation about what can be done. If you live your day, 24 hours is one day, but I live my day 12 hours is a day and 12 hours is a day, I'm already competing way more than you are. Or, we're on different playing fields, but we've got slow people, fast people. And Isla.
Isla says all of my children's names have meaning, and they most certainly embody these characteristics. And I think a lot of people, you have to be very careful. Sometimes we name our children, we already decide a name. We already decide a name for our children before they're born. But then we always give them that nickname that shows who the hell they are, And that's why a lot of times you can grow up in the Black community, and that's why they can have a nickname, and sometimes you may not even learn your cousin's nicknames until they get grown.
Let me tell you about that. At my high school graduation, family is there and they call my name, and nobody knows that it's me because nobody calls me by my name. And that was so awkward, because after the fact, they were like, we were waiting for them to say blah, blah, blah. I'm not telling y'all my family nickname. And not that it's like, Snooky or Boo Boo or, whatever. It's not like a nickname, like it's like a name. Yeah. And they're waiting for this name, and it never came. But then here I'm walking, and they're like, oh, it's a delayed clap because, oh, shit, that last.
That's who they were talking about. Yeah. But that's one of the things is that a lot of times people say, well, how can you be an Aboriginal? How can you be an Aboriginal and they don't call you a little feather or walking in power? We do. We give ourselves these nicknames, and that just shows that Aboriginal character, because see, you don't really know how a person is until that kid is born, till you get to know that kid. And then once you get to know them, then you give them a little nickname. It's just like sometimes we're not cool at all, because sometimes our children call their sister or brother with they won't pronounce the name right, and then we'll start calling them by the same name. But again, that's kind of being honorable. And I think it's this whole search for perfection. Yes, they say there is no perfection, but sometimes you can have perfection. Sometimes you can have perfection in a mate. And the reason you can have perfection is because the fact is that that person meets all your requirements. It doesn't matter if that person doesn't meet the requirements of these other people, but because that person meets your requirements, that can be perfection, you know. Yes, we know that our children, you know, what I could think that my child that I could think that my child can do and I think they shouldn't do is going to be different what you may allow your child to do. But that doesn't mean in a sense that they're not that they're not perfection in your eyes or they're about perfection. Because see, the perfection is perfection is also, most things are just a state of mind. These are words. These are words.
It's true. Because in real time, Jonathan Majors told his white girlfriend that she needed to be more like Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King.
That's
like,
right. That's right.
What are we doing, man? Like,
yeah. But even think about that psychology. You know, when you think about that psychology, is that here's this guy. It showed in a way. It showed in a way that he didn't really need to be with a white woman in the first place. And the reason he didn't need to be with a white person in the first place is because he wanted her to be those role models in a sense that he recognizes being the superior woman. But see, by the simple fact in the sense that he wanted to be like his friends, he wanted to be part of the group. And to be part of the group, you have to have these white ladies, you know, like when I went to university, I noticed in a sense when I played on the football team. And I noticed that when the brother come down there to visit a white girl, you know, to have a white girl take you around, you know. And so then in a way, in a sense, they make you feel, you know, easier. It's just easier to talk to a white girl because they're easy. So and a sister, you have to at least pretend you have to pretend you like them and stuff. And you had to work at really developing her so that she can show you affection. You had to really work at it. I didn't see that people had to do that with European girls. And so then, but again, it's very difficult. And so when you can see somebody that's making a comeback, when they've been put into a hole, you say, damn, that's very interesting. But again, I wonder if it has anything to do with what's going on in Gaza, that they don't have time to really concentrate on keeping people down. You know, I mean, they keep trying to find, in a sense, you know, it's kind of really hard because most of the time the media does everything they can do to find a black person who's doing something that's stupid or something illegal. And it looks like it's hard for them to find it. I even noticed in Chicago that they've stopped having a black murder every night. Now a lot of them are coming from the Latino community, you know, because they don't have time to really concentrate on us. And so it's interesting to me that this whole dynamic in terms of what's happening in the Middle East is making it so it's hard for them to really keep an eye on us. Because see, I always feel that those people who are engaged in conflict, I think they always feel that they should play us up as the most negative, play us up as the enemy, so that people won't look at them. But the people always still look at them, but they feel that they're doing misdirection.
Well, I agree. And like I said earlier, I don't think they have the numbers. If they had the numbers, then yeah, they would have their hands and feet in it in a way that not only would they be talking about Gaza, but they would be throwing the black man into the hot seat for being the example of degeneracy or whatever bad thing. But, you know, maybe, you know, Joe Biden, before he got elected the first time, he told the Black Caucus members, you know, he smacked at them, right? It was on that Zoom call. And he told them that they're going to have to get used to dealing with
the Latinos.
Right. So, you know, it's like maybe they're accepting their defeat because they understand that it's the mind. It's not really about what you look like as much as your thought. And again, if we can get these Negroes to give us their shit because they don't know that it's theirs, they didn't do their paperwork, they don't know where they're from. And yeah, we've got papers right now, but we can destroy all that stuff. We burn it, whatever, right? Make new papers, you know, Walter Plecker it. And in real time, some of us don't care to claim. And then some of us are, sounding the alarm for anybody who will listen.
See, the problem is that they know that we're the majority. They know we're the majority population, even though they say we're 14%. That's a lie. It's over 100 million black people here, and I could show it through looking at the census. And so then, but the thing is that because we're the majority in this country, that's one of the reasons why. That's why the culture the American culture is a black culture, because of the fact that this is our land. This is because of the fact, in the sense is that we've always invested in this area. And so then, but they always had to keep you believing that you're a minority. They had to keep you believing you're a minority so that you'll stay in line. But see, by the simple fact, now you remember this, and don't ever forget this, Eve and family, is that South Africa, they wanted to learn how to dominate the black majority in South Africa by coming to the United States. Yes. And learning about the Jim Crow laws.
Yes.
That should tell you that we're the majority. We're the majority. You see,
you taught that to me one of our first episodes, and I've used that argument in real time, and you can't negate it, because how do you use something if it's more of y'all than it is of them? You can't use a system that's flip-flopped. It wouldn't work. The math ain't mathin'. But when you put it in context, like you just said, absolutely, they could use it. 2% over 98% if you do these key things and point. Absolutely, and it works.
And and the beauty of it is, and the beauty of the European is that he was able in a sense to eliminate an Aboriginal population without killing them all off. Mm-hmm. And because the fact, in a sense, is that they started feeling we always feel if we to go along to get along. That's what my mom and them taught us. Mom and them taught us that bullshit. To get along, you go along. Yes, it is bullshit.
Get along.
But at the same time, Mama was right, because see, Mama in a sense understood is that if you play the game the right way, then therefore in a sense you can win. See, that's the whole problem. Is that you're in a race where you're supposed to lose, but if you do it the right way, you can win.
Absolutely.
But then, in a sense, is that but life is not fair. Life is not fair. But the point is this: is that if you can meet good people, it can make your life a little bit better.
Oh yeah. It's about your experience and the people you touch, and every day you have an opportunity to make a difference. I don't want anybody to ever leave our shows thinking that all is lost and it's despair and life's not fair or whatever. No, we teach the minis life's not fair, because sometimes somebody's going to get something you didn't get. Sometimes you're going to work real hard and not win, and that's going to suck. It's really bad. But if you're not prepared for it, then I didn't do a good job, because life's not going to give a shit about how you feel.
And the vast majority of people don't know you, so they don't give a shit.
Right.
But at the same time, life is not fair. But in a way, you see, that is a lie. Why is it a lie? Because what is life? Because everybody's life is different.
Yeah.
And because everybody's life is different, then therefore, in a sense, how you structure your life can help you. It doesn't mean, in a sense, you always have control over everything that takes place in your life, but at the same time, much of your life is, in a sense, wonderful. And much of your life, in a sense, is good, because even though people will call me a lie, I think you get everything in life that you want, but you have to be careful what you want. And then secondly, you never get it to the degree. See, here's the problem about life. You never get what you want to the degree that you're completely satisfied. But if you're completely satisfied, why would you ever want to be with God? Why would you ever, in a sense, want to treat other people nice? You see? And so then you have to, in a sense, have some things that don't go 100% your way, but 95%, 75%, hey, it's okay,
I like that. That's a full circle thought with how you said that men don't want to say no, but if you're a pushover, then she's not going to want to do the things, not be led. You say yes to everything. You don't give a shit, you know. But what about my safety? But no, yeah, go on that trip with your girlfriends. That's whatever, you know. Go to mimosa brunch weekends. I don't know. See, you can see how
you gotta sometimes say no, but it's very hard. But see, you may not know this, but it's very hard. It's very hard to tell your woman no, but you have to sometimes say no because they want you to say no, and then people say, Clyde, that's a contradiction. How can somebody want you to say no when they act like they want you to say yes? You just have to play it by ear and hope.
Right. All situations are not the same for sure. And I think women like to test their partner to see what they can get away with. And, you know, maybe you really did want them to say yes, but he knew something you didn't know. I speak from personal experience here, you guys. Like, I know that in my personal life, our struggles that we've had have been because he doesn't want to say no to me. But Eve, did you learn your lesson? Did you skin your knee appropriately, or did?
Well, see, that's not cool. But some men are like that, you know.
I mean, it's more about support, right? If you're with someone and you're not controlling, then you can't be like you can't go. But do you say go to your detriment, or do you try to give them the information and then let them make an adult decision? And then from there,
somebody got to
get over that, you know.
Somebody got to get me in, and sometimes you have to change your roles. But I think the beauty of existence and the beauty of in a sense being able to come back is to always remember is that you are human, and you have your frailties, and you have your strengths, and I think that can allow you to make a comeback. Did you have any final words for tonight?
If you're here tomorrow, you have an opportunity to make a comeback. I have, it's a very dark thought, but every day you've got the same amount of hours as everybody else until you don't. You know, they got us stuck on you only live once, but actually you live every day until you die. You die once and then you come back, but you're not you anymore. So the cycle starts all over again.
That's deep.
You know, life's not fair, but
that's deep.
That's where you at.
That's deep. I never thought about that. Is that when people say you only live once, but every day you're living? That Eve, that's powerful.
Thank you. But it's that's how they get us stuck on stupid thinking that we've got to go big because you only get one chance to go big. No, you get every day to go big, and hopefully you don't do it to your detriment, because I think that's what they want. They want us to be fireworks or shooting stars or, you know, a spectacle for a time, and then you're gone. So, you know,
that's what they always want Black people to do is to they want us to get excited, and then, like you said, they want to peter out, and they hate in a sense, they hate for you to be that candle. They hate for you to be they hate for something that can be burning, you know, and that you don't have to have a really bright light, but as long as you have some light that you can shine on stuff. Thank you for sharing this with us tonight, Eve.
Hey, thank y'all for joining us for another reality check. We'll be back next week with another conversation that you didn't know you wanted to have.
That's right. Thank you, family.
If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. Vampires, they prey on your fears and stay away. Vampires, they prey on your fears, control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. What I say. Don't let them take control your atmosphere. Distraction of enemy. What I say. I am you. Control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. What
the one to do.